bedroom setup in dementia units in hotter countries is very different to the bedroom setup in colder countries. In colder countries, it's all about getting warm bedding and a heater in the room, especially for winter, whereas in warmer countries, hotter countries, it's about cross ventilation and coolness. So for hotter countries, just assess with the dementia resident what it is that they like in their room, or how they like their room organised for temperature. So if they're just happy with the window being open and there being some cross ventilation, that's good. Or if they like a fan in the room, organise that. If the dementia unit supplies them, good. If not, see if you can bring in a fan and check that they'll pay for the electricity, or if not, work out a way of being able to pay for the electricity, because it's important that a fan is there for them to be able to get that ventilation. In New Zealand, for example, they don't often provide heaters in the room, although underfloor heating is often happening, though sometimes that doesn't get turned on. But if you bring in a heater, then the facility will provide the electricity, which is a big boon. But just check with the facility if they will provide the electricity for the fan, which is a lot less than a heater, by the way, so it should be fine. Now, so that's our ventilation and coolness. Now with bedding, of course, cooler bedding, maybe just a cool overthrow sheet is needed. But whatever the bedding, make sure that it's a light bedding, because that's for colder countries as well, light duvets and light mohair blankets, because when people get older, especially with dementia and confusion, they haven't got the strength to roll right and left in bed. Well, they can do it, but because in dementia facilities you actually need to be independent enough to do that, but it can be difficult. So the lighter the bedding, the better. Now in terms of the room setup itself, again, the nice comfortable chair that the person has, often had at home, their favourite chair, their favourite armchair that they can easily get in and out of, that has all the memories associated with it and that is comfortable for their size and shape. Bring that in, their favourite chair. Now, if they haven't got a favourite chair and the chair wasn't working too well anyway, make sure that you can get a chair that fits their size, their height and their shape, so they're comfortable when sitting in it, 1, and 2, that they can easily get out of it, even without pushing on the armrests, because often they forget to do that and they just stand up just as one whole unit without using the arms. So the height of the chair and the angle of the chair needs to be such so that they can do that. Okay, so that's the chair. Second thing, the next thing, third thing I think, is the pictures for the walls. Very important aspect, because that's of course where all the pictures can be there for inspiration, memory and reminiscing. Very important space, because the walls are comparatively big compared to the wall space, having 3 or 4 walls or 4 walls around, if not taken up by a window and a toilet door. If there's toilet facilities there, at least you've got 2 walls, generally 2 big walls to put pictures up on. So make good use of those spaces, and put up pictures that are good for reminiscing. Of course, if your mother, for example, wants to have photos of the family and her husband, if he's passed away, and make sure they're big pictures so that they're easily seen, with or without glasses, and that there's subtext underneath of names for recall. Of course, glasses are a good idea, very good idea, prescription glasses at that, but if not available, make the pictures big enough so that they can see them clearly and read the names underneath, which you can encourage them to do. They may like to have a picture of their favourite cat or dog. I don't know in other countries if dogs and cats are a very big thing. Here in New Zealand, every elderly woman practically seems to have a lovely cat that they love. So they love to have their picture of their cat up on their wall. But whatever is your tradition in your country, the favourite whatever animal or whatever thing that they loved, have that up on the wall in eyesight from their chair where they sit. That's the big thing, because you want it to be straight ahead, not at an angle that they can't see. Then they can just sit back in their chair and enjoy the happy memories. Now, another thing is that religious aspect. Now, if it's a non-Christian country, if the person or your mother, say, is a Muslim woman, or she's a Buddhist, or she's got her favourite gods and goddesses of Hinduism, then put her favourite picture up. No doubt she's had the picture at home. Her favourite picture, excuse me, bring it in and put that also at eye level, or she may prefer to have it at the head of her bed if that's where the position of the picture was, say, of Buddha when she was at home. If you can make the room set up as much as practically possible near to the version of how it was at home in the dementia unit, then there's easier access, more likelihood of being orientation, because it's a big shift coming into a dementia unit. So many things to adjust to. And if the room's set up similar to how it was at home, at least that's one lot of orientation that the dementia resident doesn't have to work quite so hard at. Now, also when you're choosing the room for the dementia resident, try and get a room with a view and sunlight. Mind you, saying that, when I think about it, in hot countries, shade may be the priority. Of course, in Christchurch, where it's freezing in the winter, even inside sometimes, you like the sunlight. But maybe in hotter countries, you don't want the sunlight, you want the shade. So just organise it in your way. You'll know all your systems over there as to how to make it all nice and comfortable for your mother and father or parent, family member, relative in a dementia unit. So these are just some of the aspects to ventilation, setting up the room nicely, having it familiar, and also just the keepsakes that your mother likes in a little bedside table. Having those keepsakes, it might be rosary beads, or it might be, picture of, not a picture, but a statue of Mother Mary, or other, if it's non-Christian, a statue of Buddha, her favourite statue of Buddha by her bed, or where she can see it on the dresser. Just work it out. So from her perspective, from your mother's perspective, what she likes, what she's always liked. It's better to keep it as it was, not to come in, new sweep in and just sort of change everything, thinking it's for the better, nice, clean and tidy. Really not better. It's better to have it, what's the expression, new brush sweeps clean. We don't want that. We want familiarity. We want good old memories. We want reminiscing for orientation. So whatever little things around that your mother used to have in her room or in the lounge at home that she liked, bring those in. And also a long head to toe mirror. It's very important for body orientation, because generally in dementia facilities, they often only have the mirror from, chest up in the bathroom above the sink, and there's no long mirrors for them to look in to get body orientation of age, orientation of, stature, ability, what they're looking like. Often they think they're much younger than they are because they only see their head. And if the lady's a nice little, lady from Southeast Asia, and she's been wearing a hat all her life, no sun on the face, so hardly any wrinkles, as is often the case, they actually look quite young when they're a lot older. But physically, if they're on a walker and they can see themselves bent over a bit at 80 or 90 years old, they'll recognise from the mirror their age and be able to orientate more as to why they're in the unit, because of age and because of, memory loss. But if they can't see themselves, it can be confusing. Everything helps with orientation, but it just needs just that little bit of understanding from the dementia resident's perspective, what's needed to help them. So I've written these two books, The Resident's Voice and The Resident's Rise, both from a dementia unit, and on Amazon and my website description below. Thank you for your comments and your looks and support. I appreciate it.